All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
This is a really nice gym, by the way.
Yeah, we love this gym. Uh, when did when did it open up?
May of this year.
Oh, exciting. Yeah, really new. All right, so basically, we're going to do a relationship podcast. The title is Martin and Gina's Diary. I don't know if you remember the 90s show Martin, with Martin Lawrence back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, so I was inspired by him and his wife and the relationship that they had. So I wanted to set out my own journey to find that love, to find that happiness, and yeah. So this is how it started.
Cool.
So if you just want to introduce yourselves, we're gonna go over like a good relationship that you had and what you learned from that, a bad relationship that you had, and then just random questions from there.
All right, sounds good. I'm Nick Fields.
I'm Justina Fields.
And yeah.
So I guess I
start?
will start
Okay.
then. Yeah. So I'm Justina Fields. I'm from Tulsa, born and raised. I did not come from the greatest background when it came to childhood, so I have had a lot of trauma throughout my years and took on a lot of horrible ways of coping. And that fell into horrible relationships. I mean, the worst, the worst of kind.
Right.
There was quite a few that were really horrible that got violent, which led me to training in jiu-jitsu. So I'd say that definitely if you are wanting something that is successful and you come from that type of background, is don't chase the habit. Don't chase it. And what I mean by is don't chase the habit is like maybe more of don't chase the demon that the rest of your family has. Change it. Do the exact opposite. And probably one of the best things that I've learned from a good relationship, which would be this one, is the best one that I've actually ever been in.
Right.
Finally, thank God. But I would probably say would to be soft. I mean, as a woman, because I never would never have a need to be. I mean, just besides being a mother, just and what I mean by being soft is gentle with your soul to your man, because they actually have a big load on them too. Um, it's not easy, especially in our relationship, to deal with a lot of things that we deal with. Training 24/7. He works, and then I work, and like I told you earlier, we live in Owasso,
Correct.
and then we come out here and we train in Toledo, so it's also a lot of compromise, and seeing what is going to be more important in the long run. That's going to be better for us because we're in our 30s, so we've got some time to give up to be able to get there, and if you've got it, definitely take it.
Right.
That's just where I've been mostly. We've been together for almost 3 years in December. We got married in June. Yeah.
One of these months.
Yeah. No, if we actually how we got there is we moved in with each other about a year into our relationship, and kind of at 6 months is when I told him, I was like, hey, where's this going? Like, because I've got plans. I told him because my daughter currently lives with her grandparents.
Mhm.
It's a whole mess in itself. But thanks, Coach. But I told him, I had plans, I had goals, because I had my own house at the time. I was working, um, and now I'm more of a stay-at-home mom, and I work here whenever I can make it. Whenever I've actually just hired someone to be able to cover some days, because driving 5 days a week, because I'd take the kids to school, and then I'd come here to clean,
Mhm.
and then go back, and then
then
have to
clean,
come back.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the children are never clean.
yeah.
Ever.
No, this dude. Okay, sometimes this place, I'm like, how? Like, I could tell what type of pets people have sometimes. Yeah. But no. Together we have 4 kids. He has 3. One of them is adopted, and then I have my own. She's the oldest, 13, 13, 8 and 7
Okay.
is the ages. And they train here too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the little ones too. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me and where I stand with this right now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand the mic
Exciting.
over.
Well, actually, I got some questions for
Yeah.
you
Okay. Cool.
regarding all that.
Okay.
So you said being gentle, being soft.
Uh-huh.
Having experienced that type of relationship where it wasn't gentle and soft, how did you have to change your mindset to get to that point?
I would say it was the light bulb moment for me would be when it wasn't so gentle and soft. Is what changed it. Is what the hell? What is this? Because when I was a little girl, like, that's not what I imagined.
Right.
That's not what I wanted in my husband. That's not what I wanted. Who is this? Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been a Christian. So when him and I met, I found out he went to church every Sunday, and I was like, "Can I go?" Yeah. And literally, we've been going every day together, just finding me,
Right.
going back to who I was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, we're supposed to be warriors in a different way than men are. We're still supposed to be hard and strong because we hold a lot of feelings that come from our children that men don't always deal with every day because
Right.
they're dealing with other things. Like I said, that's more of like, the motherly softness.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was when it was not so soft is what I learned, or when I noticed. So yeah.
No, that makes sense.
I mean, it takes a team.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because trying to show someone something different, I noticed in my past relationship is difficult, especially when they didn't have that type of love and care. They're really reclusive, so it's really encouraging seeing that you loved her through that, and giving her something different, and going back to church or going back to what you feel safe is always a fresh start. People think yesterday or 10 years ago will define us. We have this moment, that's it.
Yeah.
Yesterday it became history. You can't relive it. Nobody can know about it unless you tell them.
I will say this: when it comes to jujitsu, that's definitely yesterday is still in your face. Because you'll get the same move pulled on you every single time,
right,
until you learn it. So I guess it's kind of, and I would say that's something that's really brought us together though too, is jujitsu. I always wanted to do it. Yeah, that's how we met. But I always wanted to do it. And like I was telling you earlier, I was like, I'm horrible at being consistent. And he's helped a lot with that because he's very consistent.
I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah, which
Sometimes that's
is
good, man.
yeah, it's good, and it's been good for me. I met him when um I was 6 months sober.
Okay.
And I've been sober ever since. I was on meth.
Right.
On and off of it for a good 8 years.
Mhm.
And yeah, so things got pretty dark, and found an outlet and a gym that allowed me to feel safe, especially as a woman. Um, but been here with Team Impact ever since.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exciting, and that's one thing people don't understand is like a lot of people who have substance abuse come from broken
Mhm.
homes or broken relationships, and if we just get the chance to reach them on a human level rather than, you know, class or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, then you can see that they can actually be loving mothers, wives, whomever you choose to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging as well. So yeah, I mean,
And just something to add to that, with us being in, you know, in this gym jiu-jitsu, it's given us, community, not only something that we both enjoy that we can do together, but like a community. We're not just, sitting at home
right.
with, by ourselves, getting on each other's nerves.
I'll get on.
But
I'll get on.
that gives us, something to do. We do it 4 or 5 times a week, most weeks, and it's, I feel like it's helped
Oh
our
yeah.
relationship
Oh
and
yeah.
kept us stable, and where we're not just sitting at home
And busy together. It's a hobby that we
yeah,
both
yeah.
really enjoy.
But
So.
yeah, and I think it's also important, because we obviously fight,
Yeah.
argue about stuff still, but um, this gives us like either we both come here, yeah, either we both come here and we're like, all right, let's just do this, and
Yeah.
we're not fighting, we're not sitting at home thinking about it. We're here doing something, or hey, I'm staying here, you go.
Yeah.
Give me a break. So
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like people don't understand you have to make it last in the sense of like you can't have love that only lasts a certain amount of time. You know, you have to continue to grow and continue to get to know her. So it's really cool that you guys, like you said, have that outlet. You know, a lot of people pay thousands of dollars for marriage counseling and all that stuff, and if you just find something you both enjoy together, and a lot of people have kids or get into relationships and they have nothing in common with that individual.
Yeah.
Kind of how my situation is. You know, we didn't have really anything in common. We grew to like some things, but I feel like if I took my time and got to know her a lot more, a lot of the stuff could have been avoided. So that's really neat as well. So going back to the original question, tell us a little bit about yourself, a relationship that either was good, bad, what you learned from it, all that fun stuff.
yeah. Well, like I was, yeah. So I have 3 kids.
Mhm.
The oldest one, she was my ex-wife's, and I adopted her while we were married, and then had 2 more kids with her later on. Um, but but yeah, that was a bad relationship for
Mhm.
sure. Didn't start out that way, but eventually it became that way. And I mean, obviously it's always a two-way street. With marriages, I wasn't perfect. She definitely wasn't, but
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, whenever I was with her, I guess, I mean, obviously several things were wrong, but something that I have learned, especially being with Justina now, is um, my first wife didn't give me the time that I needed to pursue it, because here at the gym I've always wanted to at least my goal was to get at least one professional fight in,
Yeah.
which I just recently, a couple of weeks ago, finally did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. But that would have never happened with my first wife.
Yeah.
And and several other things that she had in her personal life that was an issue for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, I learned that or I made up my mind that if I do get married, start dating again, it would have to be with a woman that will either do it with me or will give me the time that I need to pursue that. And I do have it is a lot. Like it's a big commitment. And I knew that was going to be a big make or break thing for sure, because it takes a lot of time and commitment for sure to be a professional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching him punching people. Like I actually like I enjoy it, and like sometimes I forget because like he says it does take a lot of time, so we don't get a lot of personal time, especially with having kids full time.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes those moments are worth it because that's our time together, and I get to see the results of what he loves, and I love it too, and it really excites me, especially if we start to see blood and stuff.
But yeah, but yeah, and obviously, having I believe having the Christian values, because I grew up in church. I learned about all that stuff, and back when they used to do Sunday school. I don't know if they do that anymore, but that was all stuff taught to me, like good morals and just all the regular Jesus churchy stuff that you always learn. But I mean, I do believe that it's very important, and I know there's I know a couple of couples that aren't Christians that still have a very healthy marriage, and that's awesome. But for me, that those principles that I learned at a young age were very important, and that's what I wanted in life.
And I would say, yeah, when I was a little girl, that's because I grew up in all the churches, from Methodist, Baptist, Catholic, Christian, just regular Christian. Um, yeah, it was like when I say like, who am I? Like in those bad times, like, because that's not. I grew up to where my man shouldn't be putting his freaking hands on me. He should be treating me with respect. He should be providing for the family. Not just those things, but yeah, he shouldn't be putting his hands on other women. Yeah. Yeah, for sure on that one. But yeah, I'd say those fell in line a lot with what I wanted, and so yeah.
So would you say those morals helped you afterwards? So okay, let me rephrase that question. So as a man, we're not really prone to show emotion, and you gave this woman so many years of your life, and you got nothing out of return. So meeting her, were you reclusive in that area, or you just accepted her because you're like, there's something different about her?
I mean, I was a little, I don't know the word. Yeah, like kind of keeping her at a distance, I guess. Not really fully committing to the idea of like, am I? Because let's see, when I met you, I mean, I was still going through the divorce, but
yeah, because she wouldn't leave.
Yeah, that too.
But, they never do.
But
but
I mean, I was still like a good year and a half out from when we actually split up, I think.
Yeah, 2018. I met him like towards the end of 2019.
Okay, yeah.
When we got together.
Yeah, so at that point, I was let's see, I had first, let's see, because I gave myself a good like 6 months before I even thought about really dating again after my ex split up. Um, but yeah, I mean, and obviously that's, my mindset was like, hey, I may never get married again, so I'm just gonna kind of date around.
Right.
That's not a healthy mindset to have
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
That was something else I learned
'Cause that's the
even
whole point
before.
of dating.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
before I met Justina, I realized like, that that's not a good thing for me to do because, I just didn't like
It
the,
can lead people
yeah,
on. It can
yeah,
lead women
yeah,
on,
it
and
can.
women can get crazy, and you might end up with the wrong one when you're just
Yeah,
messing around.
yeah, it can. And I didn't like that
Same with men
lifestyle.
though too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that lifestyle, so I was like, I'm not really gonna date. I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. But yeah, whenever I met her, we went on a couple of dates, and
Our first date was Waffle
it
House,
was, yeah,
and that's when I
just
found
some,
out he liked black coffee.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first test.
Yeah,
It
it
was the
was.
first test in our relationship.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't like. It's not my drink of choice, but if it's there, I would, I
You
guess,
drink it.
prefer it black. Yeah.
I've always found it weird, like in movies, people order coffee with lunch. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
do throughout the day?
Yeah.
So that's hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, a couple of dates in, I was like, I really like her, and we met at our gym that was in Bixby before this one opened up.
Hmm.
Um, so we had that in common, going in. So I was like, you know what, she's already been at the gym for a few months now. I don't want to be like the guy that just dates her for a little bit, breaks up, and that's the reason why she leaves.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, I was a little standoffish because I was I didn't know if I was ready for a serious relationship at that point. But yeah, I think
We ended up making it work.
yeah, but I think once I got past, hey, quit being, an immature idiot.
Yeah.
Uh, take her seriously. She deserves it. At least an honest try. Um, and because it's not fair to her just to date and lead her on or whatever I'm thinking of doing.
Where's that gonna go? I mean, like,
Yeah.
and that's because I don't know if all women are the same, but there's a lot of us out there that date for purpose. Um, so especially if you've already been through the gutter,
Right.
you've got kids already, like it's either I could not date and just focus on those things, but if I'm gonna date, where's that gonna go?
Yeah.
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Are we just gonna be sleeping at different houses and just seeing each other all the time? Like what the fuck is that?
Right.
Like,
No, that
I'm
makes
sorry,
sense.
but like, excuse my language,
No,
but I
it's
mean,
fine.
like, even on both sides, women that lead men on, because it happens. It happens a lot. Yeah, it just makes no sense to do that in any. If you're dating, definitely date for purpose because then you're just going to be making the wrong decisions
Right.
and wrong decisions. I mean, with the wrong people. Like it's just going to consistently be the wrong people.
Yeah.
I know that by choice.
Yeah, especially growing up, like when I was in middle school or high school, how many girls have you had sex with, or how many guys you had sex with, and like eventually you lose the good quality of love. You think
Yeah.
love is all about what you could do sexually for another person, not knowing it takes, talking them down from like a depression episode or, loving them through an anxiety attack. Yeah. So,
PTSD. Okay, so I have PTSD and I have night terrors.
hmm,
So there was this one time that I punched him twice in the face while I was sleeping. Occasionally I will scream in my sleep. I don't think he's heard that one yet, but like I'll wake up sweating. I'll wake
So
up, but
maybe we just don't know.
but it was so yeah. Through all those things, that love is like there's what are they? How many love languages? 5 or 6?
Well, that'll be one of
5.
the questions. So if you want to get into that, what are you guys' love language and how do you guys accommodate that to each other?
First, I think we should review what they are because I don't think I remember all of them.
Good, because I don't either. I was just gonna throw that out
Well,
there.
we might have to.
Yeah, if you have a phone, we
Here,
can always
here.
look.
I got mine right here.
Okay. Well, I know there's gift giving,
Right.
physical touch,
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation.
Let's see.
Yep. And I think that's about all I remember.
Is that why we have some problems sometimes?
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Language is a hard word to spell. I just want to throw that out there.
I know, I was like, whoa, hold on. Okay. Quality time and acts of service.
Okay, there's the 5, yeah. So, quality time, acts of service,
Yeah, that makes sense. Why
words
you
of
would-
affirmation, physical touch, and no, I'm drawing a blank on that last one.
Right there.
Gift giving?
Gift giving, yeah.
So, I mean, I would say probably for for me, that are like the most important would be words of affirmation and physical touch. Um, and then probably occasionally gift giving, quality time, and occasionally acts of service because um, I can do things around the house. It is nice to see him pick those up, like when I'm not feeling good, especially without asking.
I think the ones that I probably do most without thinking about it, or I guess trying, but I do try. But the ones that just come automatically
Right.
would probably be acts of service.
I know that. Yeah.
And then, I guess physical touch.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a man. So.
Yeah, I know. I know. But when I say physical touch, it's more of like I love it when he tickles my back before I go to sleep, or plays with my hair,
Yeah.
or rubs my feet. I love he does that, and I love that. Like that's it. It comforts me. I don't know what it does, but I do have anxiety, so like it calms my mind.
Right.
And it's just really weird what it does for my whole body.
And people don't understand, like, relationships, like you guys said, had to be taken seriously. Like, having that type of intimacy is stronger than having sex with just random people.
For sure.
You know, like, he is your comfort, you know, your safe haven, so to say. And I feel like that's what really true love is. You know, like, not like, oh my goodness, like, I need him around, or I need her around. Not in like a obsessive way, but I want them around, you know. Like, I'd rather them be here because of how they make me feel. I can feel, you know, good by myself, but I'd rather have them.
Yeah, it's the comfort.
Yeah.
And
I think that's another thing. Like you need to be comfortable being by yourself before you can be in a healthy relationship. I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
I don't like to be by myself, but I can. I could if I definitely wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm learning now.
Yeah.
I had to relearn that.
Helps.
Yeah, I had to relearn that whenever I got divorced. I had to get comfortable being, you know, not. And I don't mean like just being alone all the time, because that's not really healthy either.
Right.
But being independent.
Yeah.
Is what I mean.
Yeah, like I said, I'm learning that right now. Me and her were together 3 years, like almost every day, and you know, have even when we broke up, we still lived together.
Yeah.
But now she's looking for her own place because of some stuff happening. I'm not really worried about it. I'm just like not used to it, I guess. You know, like sometimes I want to call her, and I'm like, Probably not the
boundaries.
probably not the best thing, or I
Yeah,
can't wait
and
till she gets here, but like I gotta find because I
Right.
used to be an independent, like I told you outside, she was my first everything, and I
Mhm.
didn't meet her until I was like 19, 18, or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be.
yeah,
So I was
that's,
comfortable being by myself, but now just a momentum change. You know, we were going so fast for so long, and then to halt that
Yeah.
is a real difficult thing.
Yeah.
how long ago was that?
So we've been separated for a year, but I found out she was with someone else
Yeah,
while we were
that
still
sounds a lot like my
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
situation.
similar.
While we're still living together, and you know I don't fault her for anything. I try to see things from other people's
Mhm.
perspective. Um, you know, I don't know how she was feeling emotionally. You know, so I'm just loving her through it, loving her for who she is. Happens to be my son's mother, so you know, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
You know, as you guys know, a lot of things are difficult, especially trying to love another person. So it's always a good time hearing you guys' love for each other. But you both have things that you didn't like in the past relationships. Did that ever bleed into this relationship? And if so, how'd you guys love each other through that?
Oh yeah, it bleeds.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's and that's what I said earlier, boundaries.
Hmm.
Um respecting yourself and what you're not going to allow to happen
Right.
anymore. Because that's what happens is that we allow things to happen.
Hmm.
Like, we don't set healthy boundaries in the first place. Um, but some bad habits that I've had, I'm not necessarily, well, like, I'm quick to temper,
Hmm.
but I'm not like a raging, crazy bipolar, like come at you with a freaking knife or throw the
Yeah.
ashtray at you or start, because I've seen those type of relationships like in front of my eyes where just because one man called his woman a bitch, she started thinking it was okay to try to fight him like a man.
Right.
Like, but I guess it comes more from passion
Mm.
and what I want and what I'm going to stand for and what I'm not going to allow to happen around me anymore. Um, but yeah, I can be quick to temper, and a lot of people take it in the wrong way. A lot do. But yeah, once you get to actually know me, you're like, oh no,
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
it's just her.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I think like because I guess whenever she does shit like that, I mean, she's been, but it's usually not for just no reason, but
Yeah, I always have
but
a legit.
I whenever she does get that way, and it's usually not because of me,
Right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I know.
but she'll vent to me because I'm her husband,
Right.
but I have to remember, and sometimes I don't, that it's venting. It's not aimed at me. You,
We're being watched through the cameras.
is that somebody talking to
It could be. Yeah, smile. You're being watched. Yeah, the cameras, security cameras.
Um, but no, I'm distracted. What was
Freaking
I saying?
coach. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
that's
So I
why
need
he
to.
said he was gonna do something on purpose.
So I've got to remember that she's, venting. It's not aimed at me unless it is.
Yeah.
But
Very rarely it's
yeah.
directed at him. Now there is sometimes like it has to do with us, but it's not necessarily directed at him. Like quality time. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll
Yeah,
get
I was
upset
gonna
about
say
not having quality
that's
time.
probably the one that I struggle with. The love
Oh,
language that I struggle with the most
well, I mean,
is
you're a
not
man.
necessarily because
Men
it's like I
hide.
want to. It's not something that I'm
He-
on purpose
I think he
ignoring.
hides his emotions,
Yeah.
though, kind of, because he's a man. He works.
Mhm.
He works. He
Yeah.
works. He works, and then we come here and we work. We work. We work. Sometimes we don't go to bed till midnight, and then we're up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning doing it all over again, 4 to
Right.
5 days out of the freaking week, So like, and that's where like I have to be understanding.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
when it comes to that stuff, because I'm like, oh, and I have to understand, he is a man. I know he has feelings, and this is probably what he's just doing. But the thing is that he does have to realize it, and that's I'd probably say that probably comes from your relationship too. That probably
What's that?
leads the quality time thing, because burying yourself in work when you're not in a good relationship, that's something that men do.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I don't necessarily think that's what I really did in my old relationship. I think why I might struggle with quality time. One would be I tried to spend quality time as
And
much
it
as
just
possible
wasn't
with
it.
my ex-wife,
Yeah.
but whenever I would make the time and effort for that,
it was just
it
horrible.
was not. Yeah, it was horrible. It
Yeah.
was not appreciated at all. And like acts of service, I feel like she appreciates me way more than my ex-wife did.
I don't
like
expect
that's-
much from him
Yeah,
besides the
I
basics.
know that's not
Yeah.
like something that's real important to you. It's nice, like you said, but
I don't bitch
her-
at him for
yeah.
not doing anything around
Yeah,
the house.
but
Right.
her,
It's not his job.
but her
I
being
stay at home.
her being her being appreciative of those things makes it a lot easier for me to really want to put the quality time in whenever I can.
Yeah.
And but yeah, spending that quality time with my ex was definitely one that just became like poisonous, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that's one that unfortunately I've let bleed over. Is not wanting to necessarily. And I don't know. That's wrong because I do want to spend quality time as much as possible. But like, no, really. But like, I guess I've I have whenever we split up, I've filled all my time in during the day because I didn't have anybody to put that quality time into for a while, and I guess it's a little bit more difficult to do.
What makes quality time more better, easier, funny? People like funny people. You got to make sure that your partner's going to be able to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Saying I don't have a sense of humor.
No,
No.
we laugh a lot. We're weird.
We're
We're funny. I love to scare him.
That's hilarious.
I love to scare him. Like, that is one of my favorites. He'll come home from work and he drives a big van. So I got good blind spots where I can hide and he won't even see me coming out. Or I'll hide in the house. There was one time the dog snitched me out and he was barking at me. And there was one time I even hid in the closet and he was coming in there trying to play with his toys with me while he was just right there.
Why is the dog?
Yeah. Yeah, there's. I get him good.
That's
But,
pretty cool.
yeah, I think he likes me too because I'm pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess you're right.
And I can relate to that quality time. As a child, my father and mom could not be together without arguing. Even if we went somewhere fun or it was supposed to be a family time, there was an argument somewhere. And I see that quality in my life, and especially not having a lot in common with her, and some of the stuff that happened in our past, I always brought it up. I've gotten to the point now where I don't blame her. I don't blame myself. I just take responsibility for what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never gonna say, oh, she did this to me, or
Yeah.
this is how I was. I was this man at the beginning, and then, found podcasting, found an outlet to be this different man, and that just didn't seem to work for her, which is fine. You can't expect everybody to be at your level of understanding. Like, you guys met each other doing something you love.
Mm-hmm.
We can't date down, we can't date up. And if you feel like you're not at that point in your life to date that person on your level, then you need to reevaluate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that quality time is just something different. Like, there's this old man who lives in my apartment complex. His wife died from cancer. I heard she beat it. They told us she beat it, and then she passed away a couple months later from it. And just seeing him outside by himself breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And it's like they had something that one day I want. But you also risk that loss of someone. And I just felt like it's to me it's worth it. Understanding that they're just gone for a little bit. And having those memories and the love. I think it's easier to deal with something as tragic as that. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's all worth it. Um, even if that does happen, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
right.
Not just being by yourself because you're, you know,
There's an old
we're all
angry
gonna,
man,
we're all gonna die eventually. So.
Right. No, man, but it's cool. So when you first saw her at the gym, you were like, "Oh, who is that?"
Yeah.
Basically, were you there first, or did you transfer over, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I started training before she joined.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it was you know, I was taking my kids to the gym because they weren't quite old enough to start the classes yet,
Right.
but they obviously had to come with me if they didn't have anywhere else to go. But yeah, so I was she came in her first day and met her. It was like, hey, cool, just introductions and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I think she was like dating somebody, at first. And so I was like, yeah, that's cool. Obviously she's attractive. I
Yeah.
think she's attractive, but
Right.
I'm not gonna go make a move on somebody that's in a relationship or whatever. So, but yeah, over time, after just small talk, like, uh, yeah, I'm single, not seeing anybody. Okay, and I have to give her the credit because she'll call me out on it. But she asked me out. Uh, let's see what our first date was Waffle House, but we hung out. I guess not on a date.
Right.
At just went to the Osage Casino. I forget what I was telling him. Our first date was Waffle House, but we hung out, quote unquote, I guess, at the Osage before then.
Oh, was that with me and all my friends?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she invited me out there.
Woo! That was me and all my girlfriends. It was mostly a girl night.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe.
Fifth wheel, seventh wheel, however many people there were.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I was asking him, when did you guys first meet? Like, if you were training there first, or he was, and he said, yeah, he was there first, and he just saw you, and he said he found you attractive. But I wanted to wait until you got out. What did you find attractive about her?
Well, I mean, just
thank you.
pleasing to the eye. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we, especially at first, we just, talked, got to know each other just barely on the surface, for the first week or so. But
Actually, for the first month or two I was training, I didn't talk to you.
Because
Like
I was saying
together.
I was saying you're kind of seeing.
Yeah, I was.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but he was still sleeping with his fucking wife. It was supposed to be ex-wife, but apparently still wife.
Not
yeah, no, I was
sleeping
not. Yeah.
as in having sex, but
he wouldn't
she
get
was
the
in
fuck
the
out of my
freaking
house either. Sorry.
She
Anyways.
was still in the freaking house,
Anyway.
and I did not want her there, but that was
fine,
the freaking relationship. So.
Oh, you're talking about yours? I thought you were talking about Andrew.
Well, both.
Yeah. Okay.
Both
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Because
Anyway.
both of them were not wanted in our houses.
Yeah. No. No. Anyways, yeah. What did you find attractive?
Your blue eyes and your. I'm a man, so your body and.
I love the straightforward.
All that stuff.
Because some people try to be romantic. He's like, no. You were looking good. That's
Yeah.
all. That's you were looking good.
It was your butt, okay?
I knew it.
It was your butt.
It was my butt.
That's wonderful. So, I mean, I guess same question. What did you find attractive about him? Because there was probably multiple different other men and women in the class, right?
There was. It was all men.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was limited on
options. Whatever. Actually, I'm gonna be nice, but there was another guy that would have been an option, but that would have not been a good one for me at all. JC. Yeah, that would. I mean, I love you, JC, brother. We love training with you, but no, he was quiet. The way he held himself. He walks with his shoulders back. He had a confidence that was not cocky or arrogant. And then when I got close, it was his eyes. Yeah, he's got like honey gold eyes sometimes. So, but no, is the way he carried himself. Which when I first tried talking to him, I didn't even think he'd be interested in a girl like me. Like, especially like where I came from. Like, I'm only 6 months clean off of meth. My last like serious relationship or whatever, I don't even know if it was serious. The dude tried to kill me. Like, so, I mean, I kind of grew up in the semi ghetto, and like I'm not an urban girl. I'm not the urban city girl. I like to do rough things. I like to shoot guns. I'm out there. I can drink with the guys if I wanted to. I can't. I'm over 30. Yeah, I'm over 30 now, so that has kind of changed a little bit. But like someone like me who walks with so much confidence, who is already established in his living, he owned his home when I met him, so he wasn't renting. Yeah. So it was more of like, and he's already got 2 kids, and like
one of the most stable people you'll probably
meet. He's responsible.
That's probably a better word.
That's what I call it. Yeah, he is responsible for everything. Bills are paid on time. Like, that's stuff I always had to worry about, but I didn't know necessarily any of that until I moved in with him and learned how he handled his bills. But yeah, I did not think someone like him would even, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so 2-part question. One for you, one for you. So, when did you tell him that's what you were going through? That's what you were addicted to at one point, and how did you love her past that? Because especially the stigma on women, if you have sex with too many men, or you do this, you do that, you're deemed not worthy to be a wife or a mother.
Yeah.
So, what for people who may struggle with that themselves, or women who think they are not good enough for a man? What is your guys' advice for that? And how'd you love her through that?
So, I've always been very honest and upfront with him. Like, ever since I met him, I think it was like a few weeks after knowing him, maybe, that he kind of knew where I'd been, and Yeah, because as soon as I joined that gym, that's what I told the gym owner at that time. He knew why I was there, and I even gave him the picture of the guy who tried to kill me, and I said, he shows up, he doesn't need to be here because this is where I want to train.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a protective order on that guy at the same time. So I'm sure quite a few of you knew, kind of what was going on. But yeah, being honest and upfront because
That was a big thing for me was
I
like,
had,
hey,
yeah,
she was upfront about this. Like,
I'm not gonna hide it. Like
appreciated
I need to
that.
know because you're gonna find out in
Right.
6 months to 2-3 years, however long I can hide it. But who wants to hide something like that? Because then you're just wasting time.
Yeah, and that was a big thing. Like I appreciated the honesty because that was another thing that I didn't get in my first relationship was, it all eventually comes out, but yeah, whenever they're upfront about it, I can really appreciate that. But as far as like me personally goes, I'm just, I'm not gonna, I don't, I'm not judgmental. Um, like
That's helped a
we
lot.
all have a
Yeah.
past. Like
Right.
we all do. Everybody has a past of some sort. And like, I figured, like yeah, she's got, these problems. She's struggled with this in the past. That's her past. As long as it stays in the past, hey,
And it has.
I can, yeah,
Yeah.
I can, we're cool. I felt like, like yeah, I've got a good head on my shoulders, but I know I've got
He's
or
got
had a lot of
baggage.
baggage,
I
from my
come with
relationship.
baggage. Baggage I
I've got
came with was more of the mental part of learning how to cope, um, and learning, really noticing my behavior and changing it and being sober and then having a person like him support me like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first real person to actually take me serious and give me a chance. Um, yeah,
another reason why I was probably really ready to do that was because I'm going on what, 29, almost 30 whenever we were getting together.
it was
So
till you're 28.
yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
No, you were
yeah,
young. I was 28 when I started the gym. Yeah, I just turned 29 in January. So yeah.
I
There
mean,
we go.
but anyway, yeah, I was. So it's not like I was
Sober.
old or nothing like
Yeah.
that, but like I had just spent, 7 years with my first wife. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do all that again
Mhm.
just to pretty much waste all that time with another person. Because yeah, it was. I got probably I got probably 2 good years out of that marriage, and the rest sucked. For the most part. So yeah, I didn't want to do that again. But yeah, as far as like, given a chance, I'm not gonna judge you on your past. Like I said, it's as long as it stays in the past, then we're good. Because I'm the same way. I bring baggage to the relationship too, unfortunately. Work as hard as I can to not let that seep into our marriage and relationship, but we all have it. So it's not like I can be a big hypocrite, whenever it comes to that sort of thing. But that was my mindset about that, and as far as like living through it, I think I think what has helped me is going back to the morals that I learned, being a Christian. We're called to forgive people, to not judge people, not be a hypocrite. We're all sinners, so it's hard, believing that sort of thing. and having that
Putting it
mindset.
into action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I think that's how I was able to look past that and be like, hey, I'm the same way. So we didn't struggle with the same things, but you know, we're all human.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I wish I known at the beginning of my relationship, because I was very judgmental. I was a very judgmental person, and not allowing her to show me who she really was. I feel like drove her away from me. I just feel like our relationship never really got on the right foot, so to say. We just went through the motions. We tried to make it work, and then ended up having a kid out of it. So I feel like if I stepped back and was like, man, she is human. As of right now, I'm still learning to, I don't know, just accept people for who they are. Um, like I said, found out she was doing this, doing that, and then just trying to love her even harder. You know, um, I was praying. I was like, man, God, show me what you want me to learn out of this. And for the next 2 days, on my Bible app, it was forgiveness, and I was like, really, forgiveness?
Yeah, it was
I
right
do I
there.
right?
Yep.
Do I really have to forgive her for what she did? And then I feel like when we talk to ourselves internally, that's God speaking to us.
Mhm.
I don't think it's weird or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah,
but He was telling me, He was like, you want to be forgiven, don't you? You
yeah.
change into the man that you are now. Wouldn't you want somebody to get to know who you are now? And just understanding that process of growing, adapting to the circumstances, and seeing what we can get going further. So, with women who may struggle with being loved or not knowing that they can be loved, what would you give to them?
Step out of your box. Um, not you don't have to go so far.
Mhm.
Just step out a little bit. Do it in a place that you're comfortable. Um, go somewhere that you would never see yourself going, and go consistently for a while and see where it takes you. Because the community that you can build around yourself, um, whether it's jujitsu, taekwondo, karate, kickboxing, boxing, or even an art class, or even a poetry class, or
Mhm.
just something that you enjoy. Find people that do that. You might end up finding people that have never loved you like anybody has, not even your own family.
Right.
That will support you in everything that you want to do and cheer you on the whole way.
Mhm.
Um, there's actually a lot of good people in the martial arts community, and a lot of us come from a somewhat of a broken background.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
that fly is
that's
he's
why
trying to get
it
us.
is he's fighting everyone
Yes,
today.
it is. Like, where the hell did he come from? But it's, I know we all like comfort, and we all like to feel comfortable in the things that we know where we're safe.
Right.
Um, but that's not what God calls us to do.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not saying that God's calling you to completely step out, but you step out, you'll find your tribe.
Right.
You will find your people that come to you. Because before, I lived in Shady Park, is what I call it.
Mhm.
Sandy Park off of
Oh
65th and
yeah.
Charles Page. Yeah,
Yeah, my aunt
horrible.
lived there.
Yeah, bad area. Um, I lived there, and that's when I started training in a completely different part of town. I was in a different town training. I stepped out, and it's hard to sometimes accept the attention that you may get because you're not used to it.
Right.
I do not. I am like, when new people come to the gym, I don't talk to them. I don't introduce myself. I like go mind my own business. Until I see that they've been here consistently. I don't know why I do that, but it's
No,
just
don't get
something.
attached to
Yeah,
something. Yeah, that makes sense.
it's just something that I do, and I see that you're here. Not, I forget people's names like instantly anyway. So,
So does Coach.
yeah, I know.
You're
But
not an instructor. It's not your
I know.
responsibility. You gotta introduce
Yeah, I
yourself
know.
and stuff.
But people kind of it makes people feel
Yeah, it
comfortable when
does.
you do those
It
type of
does.
things. But um, it's hard to accept people like I'm the only girl that was here for the longest time, and we've gained a couple girls since we've been here, which is awesome. But the girl in the gym.
Yeah.
Sometimes all eyes are on you, and I don't like it. It's weird. I don't mind it as long as I don't have to interact half the time.
Yeah.
Like it's the whole interacting part. But sometimes when people come up to you, I am so weird with small talk and making small talk and trying to make a conversation out of it. Sometimes just be yourself, be authentic, be who you are. Um, and the right people will come to you. They will, and the right people will stay if you continue to be yourself.
Right.
And that's very important just for anybody. Um, be you unapologetically. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like if they don't like you, then they're not your people, and they shouldn't be around you. And you know what? You should not change yourself.
Yeah.
For people. Um, but yeah, just accept it. Just as much as you probably don't want to, step out and accept the attention in a good environment.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like go to Oktoberfest, act a fool,
Right.
and end up somewhere you shouldn't be.
Right.
Don't do that. But if you have a hard time going out places, maybe find someone that you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
To definitely take to with you. Buddy system is always one of the greatest systems, being a female and going out anyways. But sometimes having extrovert friends when you're introvert is the best thing.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
Opposites attract.
Yeah, because like I'm introverted. Like when we're out in crowds and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll talk to people and people will talk to him.
I'm not an extrovert by any means.
He's not, but coaches. You saw him,
Yeah.
and when we go places with him, it's like.
But
Yeah.
but I don't mind. But yeah, I'll talk to whoever.
I'm weird. Yeah, I'm weird. Like
See,
you might get one of these.
yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same way. I have a podcast, but I just don't go up to hi. I don't do that. I'll talk to you, but
Yeah.
keep my distance for a little bit. But okay, so another question for you. Wrapping up here in a little bit. But as a man, we're very prideful, and we care what people think in a sense. Like, oh, why would you date her? Why would you do that? What advice can you give to a man who may have to love his partner harder because of what she's been through and block out all the mean comments that other people may give to him?
Yeah, so this is actually something that I've never really struggled with.
With your ex, you have. She says a lot of bad things about me.
Yeah,
but
that's also somebody that I don't care her opinion already.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, now if like, I guess if my Cody, somebody like my best friend was like, hey, why are you with her? I'm gonna be like,
I know I'm being one.
and I'd be like, I mean, I don't. Whenever it comes to stuff like that, like I don't care, what I'm gonna be me, and if she's good to me and I really like her, love her, whatever, I don't have a problem. Obviously, don't be talking crap to her, you know, either behind my back or in my face.
Right.
You can think over whatever you want, but
You just better watch what you say.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of being your man, I guess.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that is true.
But I mean, yeah, as far as like, I guess I would say like, man, don't care about people's. I mean, don't care about people's opinions.
Yeah.
That's something that I've just really had to learn just throughout life, not even necessarily through my relationships, but just in general in my life. Like, hey, if it's somebody that I really value the opinion of, or if it's somebody that like, hey, this person does this sort of thing, then well, okay, yeah, I see that. But
Yeah.
like, if I were to run into you know somebody that knew you from back in the day and was talking all kinds of crap to you, and be like, why are you with her? I'd be like, well, she's not the same person,
Yeah.
first of all.
It did kick him in the face.
Yeah. Second of all, like, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
that, whatever experience you've had with her,
You probably
that's
deserved it.
that's definitely not the experience that I have had.
Right.
And I'm with her now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, if anyone knew me, like from the time that him and I have been together, I have changed so much from the first day that him and I met till today. And so if you haven't met me ever since him and I've been together, then you ain't got much to say.
Yeah.
You don't, because I'm definitely not who the hell I was when we first met.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And again, like, maybe she doesn't, maybe you two don't click, whatever, but me and her do. So, when it works, it works.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I just don't really care about other people's opinions. I mean, just that random people anyway, for sure.
Yeah. So 4 children altogether, guys.
Yeah.
Obviously blended family. How was that? And then how long did it take for you guys to? I mean, of course you accepted the children, accepted each other, but when did it become okay? This is family. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, for me, like, her daughter is a good kid. She doesn't cause any problems, really. So it was really easy to, accept her along with Justina. So, um, that makes it easy. But um, probably seeing her daughter Jade around my kids, she treats them real good.
yeah,
They all look up to her. She's the oldest one of all of them. They all look up to her and love hanging out with her. So I think that was real significant for sure. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, she made it easy. My oldest daughter has not made it too easy.
Well,
But
I will also say when you have a co-parent on either side, because my daughter's grandparents, my parents are guardians right now, and we're going through court, but they're not easy co-parents either.
Mm.
So when you have a co-parent, that's not easy because what are they saying to this child that's negative about the person you're with? And it tries. It really tears at a family that's like children deserve to love whoever they want to
Yeah,
love.
and that's what people. That's like adults don't understand that.
Yeah,
What you say and do in front of a child impacts them
it
tremendously.
does, yeah. And I was one of those kids, and I think that's probably something that helped me. But I would probably say, yeah, the family time and when his kids really started accepting me. no matter what anyone else was saying.
Right.
Because then what am I doing? I'm just raising kids that look at me like I'm just their babysitter, or I'm just Justina. I'm nothing to them. But no, they've occasionally called me mom. But there's other things that they have done. Like, I don't always tuck them in at night because I've always left that as a father bond because those are his children, and I want him to be able to have that with them. But there's times where they ask me to.
Yeah.
And that tells me that they're looking for comfort.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say that was really at like probably around a year and a half. We lived together for like 6 months before that because we were trying to figure things out. I was still kind of working at that time, and he was separated from his ex, and they were trying to figure out the custody schedule, so it was just really rough to get a swing of it. And especially for someone who's not stable, it's really hard. It's hard. It really is. Everybody has to be on board on every side.
Right.
Like my daughter's dad, I told him when she comes home, that he needs to be on board with co-parenting. If he's going to be a part of her life, he needs to be on board. And if I say something that if she goes over there and she's grounded, I expect her to be grounded at your house. Right. I don't expect you to be like, oh, screw what mom said, because what the hell? It's not child's fault. But yeah, when you don't have someone who's being stable and consistent like you are, it's hard. But yeah, I'd say a year and a half, after 6 months of living with each other and doing family things, and we finally started doing holidays together. Yeah.
There's also like my daughter. How old was Hayden? She was like
Hayden
3,
was 4. She had just turned 4.
Yeah, so she was little. But yeah, she before we even started dating, she would be like, hanging out with her at the gym.
That's so cool.
Yeah, his kids. Like, I met his kids the same day I met him.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
like I was saying, they came with me.
Yeah.
Whenever I was training at first, so. But yeah, they were like, hey, Justina, stuff like that.
Yeah, so. Anytime that I took a rest, there was
That's so
over
cool.
on my lap to
doing?
Take pictures with me and watch this, play with me, little suckers.
Right.
I'd say they were probably part of the sucking part of the sucking part.
So you both said a lot of wonderful things about each other, about relationships. So as we're wrapping up, what can you give to couples or individuals that are getting into their first relationship or getting out of one and trying to get into a new one? What would be your motivator to continue to look for that special someone?
I'd say don't be afraid to put yourself out there. But again, don't change you to try and find somebody. Be yourself. Even if it takes years and years, it's not worth being fake just to get into a relationship with somebody. Just be open and
honest.
Yeah, honest and don't and also don't judge people because of their past. Judging on their character that they show you who they are. But also, and obviously, especially when you do have kids, you want to take the time to get to know this person.
Yeah.
But there are definitely ways to date with kids.
Oh yeah, include the
we've
kids.
done it. Yeah.
Dude, if you've got kids, include the kids because to see your kids. I know some people, and it also does depend on what custody orders say and a lot of stuff. But if you don't have that stuff in your way, and you don't have someone else jumping down your throat, and if it, especially if it's going to be worth it,
Right.
definitely probably date before, if you know what I mean. But if you continue to date, after 6 months or so, dude, go do something fun.
Yeah.
Take the freaking kids to the park together, have a park, play frisbee, take the dogs for a walk, go hiking, because then you get to see a totally different side
Yeah.
of the person.
And obviously,
But yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
it's fun. It's fun with
Yeah.
kids, though. I
Yeah.
love doing things with the kids.
and a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't be bringing somebody around your kids that early.
That's what I was saying.
If
Yeah,
you do not feel comfortable with this person being around
don't
your
bring
kids,
them around your kids.
probably not somebody that
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
be dating.
Yeah. But just be honest, be open, be soft with each other. Even as a man, I know it's hard to be soft with your woman because that's what you guys, society tells you from the day you're born. You got to be hard, hide your feelings, and communicate with your woman.
Right.
Because maybe that's all she needed was for you to just say those 5 words that you just said, and then her problems gone. Communicate and not just about feelings, just communicate about your day, about your plans, because that's something that we do. We are always on the same page. We have to be. If we're not on the same page, what are we doing? We're living two separate lives then, pretty much. So that's for some people, but that's not for me. But yeah, definitely communicate, compromise when it's needed and when it's due, compassion, and forgiveness because we're in relationships for long term.
Right.
We want to be with someone when we're 70 years old. We don't. This is my second marriage too, and this is my last.
Right.
Even if him and I didn't work out, nope. I am gonna be busy fighting. That's what I'm gonna be doing if it didn't work. But the thing is that I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah.
Because it is worth it. And I love him. I like his company. But yeah, definitely compromise, compassion, and all the above. The things that we saw in our grandparents maybe at one time, or like you said, your neighbor. Um, that's something that we all want. That's a goal. I mean, whether people speak about it or not, it's something at one point we all have dreamed about.
Right.
We all used to play house at some time in our life. Even if we were 2, 3 years old.
Right.
But also don't let society form who you're supposed to be as a woman and as a man. Because as a woman, society says right now I'm supposed to be an independent woman, with my own business.
Right.
I don't need a man, and that mentality is just it's stupid. It's no.
You're not gonna find love that way.
You're not. You're not gonna find love from anybody that way because you just like your shit don't stink. I mean, but it's very important that you don't have that mentality. I like being able to work when I want to make extra money for funds that we need, not being told I have to. Because first of all, I can work if I want to, and I will work consistently. But do I want to? No. I've got other conditions. I've got fibromyalgia, so it's an autoimmune disease disorder. thing, whatever. I don't even care. I haven't been going to the doctor for the last 10 years, but I'm in pain a lot and
Yeah.
for no reason. Um, so yeah, you can't let society tell you who you're supposed to be because doctors would not approve of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They would be telling me they told me I can't do any hard contact workouts because of the damage it will potentially do to my bones. Dude, take your vitamins, eat your Wheaties, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And your body will last forever. But not only that, you take care of yourself. Your relationships will last forever. But yeah, be good to yourself and be good to your partner. But also be good to their family.
Yeah.
Their family freaking matters. And their kids. Be try. I have a hard time with it sometimes, but just be good to people. Like you said, we are human. So
That's wonderful. Well, guys, you both are fighters, so do you have like a Twitter or Instagram that you guys post on consistently for people to watch you or see you?
I'm on Facebook under Justina Fields. And if you go into my little about profile area, I have the link for our team website, and I also have the link for my Instagram, which is Fields underscore MMA is the Instagram tag, and I think we don't have any actual fighter pages up just yet. I'm
Yeah.
in the process of actually working that. Takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It
No, I
takes a
feel
lot of
you.
focus
That's
to
your
do
brand.
that.
I understand.
I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Just look up Nick Fields, you'll find me. But I don't post consistently.
Yeah.
So.
See, that's I gotta because I'm gonna have to manage both of them.
Probably,
So
yeah.
Your pro debut
Yeah.
is that on YouTube or where can I find that?
It's actually it is on Facebook under
I could probably send
XFN.
it to you.
Yeah,
I'll
send it
the
to
link
me.
to
I'll put
you.
it
Yeah.
under
Okay,
here.
yeah. But it's on XFN's Facebook page.
Oh, that's where you
Yeah,
fight out of? Okay.
That was where I made my pro
Oh.
debut. Yeah.
That's dope.
And that's where my debut will be is at the
Yeah.
River Spirit.
Oh, that's your
Friday. Yeah.
pro debut as well?
Not pro debut.
Amateur?
Yeah,
Okay,
amateur.
okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think yours is going to be aired on UFC Fight Pass.
It
but
might be.
since
Sure.
she's an amateur, they don't always make it onto the UFC Fight
so
Pass.
we're not sure.
So yeah.
Well, I'm excited, guys.
Yeah.
Very excited for you. It's pretty cool. Well, I mean, that's all that I have. Thank you guys for probably an hour. Was it 25?
I'm blind. I can't see nothing.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Guys, this is a beautiful example of a relationship. Hearing what you guys been through and how you guys love each other through that, I'm pretty sure is an encouragement for a lot of people who will potentially watch this. I don't have a lot of people just yet, but
we certainly hope so.
Heck yeah.
We'll tell some people to check you out.
Beautiful.
And
I appreciate it.
I'm actually excited to see some of your other stuff too. Because,
oh yeah, thanks.
Roy did send me the link to your podcast, so I started looking at some of your ones on depression and stuff too. And I think you got a future there. So,
I appreciate it. But alright, guys, thank you for watching this. I hope that you learned the values of relationship, the value of being nice to one another, and say hi to people at your local gym. You never know. You may get married. From us three to you guys, may your pain be champagne.